Okay, today we're going to talk about linear functions and the concept of slope. Okay, so linear function, well, it's what you expect it is. When you graph it, it'll look like a line. But algebraically, it's an equation that looks like this. F of x equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the intercept. And that's why we call this slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's look at what slope means. Slope is how quickly your line rises. The slope is equal to the rise over the run. And if you find 2 points on your line, where the points are labeled x1, y1, and x2, y2, say, then this is the formula that will give you the slope. Okay, so let's look at an example here. Here I've graphed the line y equals 2x plus 1. And so we expect the slope to be 2, right? Based on this equation. And so you see I graphed it, it's actually a line. And here are 2 points on the line. So we'll make x1, y1 equal to 0, 1. That's this point. And x2, y2 equal to negative 1, negative 1. That's this point. Okay, now we're going to compute the slope, and hopefully we'll get 2, since that's what we expect. So we do this over here. We take the rise over the run. So this is y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1. What we get here is negative 2 over negative 1 equals 2. Okay. Now, one thing to notice, it actually didn't matter which one was x1, y1, and which one was x2, y2. We could reverse the roles of these points in this formula, and it actually wouldn't change anything. So it doesn't matter which points you pick. Just pick 2 points on the line, use this equation here, and you'll find the slope. Okay. Now what about this number here, the intercept? The intercept actually refers to the y-intercept, which is the place where the graph crosses the y-axis. And algebraically, that corresponds to f of 0. This means you plug 0 into the function f. So if we look at the picture up here, 0, 1 is our y-intercept. When we plug 0 into the equation, what we get is 1, right? 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1. So this is the y-intercept, and we see that this is the place on the graph where the line crosses the y-axis. Now, this is the y-intercept, and that's the intercept we're talking about in the slope-intercept form. There's also the thing called the x-intercept. So the x-intercept is the place where it crosses the x-axis. So we can see it would actually be this point on the graph right here. This would be the x-intercept, which is also the place where f of x equals 0. So you can see the difference here. For the y-intercept, we're evaluating f at 0. We're plugging 0 into f. If we want to find the x-intercept, we would set f of x equal to 0. Okay, and the reason that I mentioned this is that there are 2 different kinds of intercepts, the y-intercept and the x-intercept. And in this formula, the intercept refers to the y-intercept. So that's important to remember so they don't get confused with which intercept they're talking about when they're talking about slope-intercept form.